Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when someone might try to tear you down in front of others. Their words may be sharp, their intent deliberate, and their timing designed to humiliate. In that split second, all eyes are on you, and the air seems to tighten around you. It feels personal. It feels unfair. But in that very moment, what you do next defines who you are. Not what they said, not the laughter in the room, not the judgment of the crowd. The power lies in your pause. Think about that word, pause. It's not a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate sign of strength. When you pause, you're not surrendering control. You're taking it. That pause is where your dignity resides, where your clarity begins, and where your power awakens. Most people think they need to react immediately when attacked, but an emotional reaction rarely brings anything but regret. When you react without thought, you're giving them control over your story. But when you pause, you flip the script. The person trying to humiliate you wanted you to crumble, to lash out, or to lose your composure. By pausing, you deny them that victory. The pause is also where perspective lives. In those seconds, you can remind yourself that their words don't define you. Humiliation feels sharp because it strikes at your ego, but ego is not who you truly are. Ego is fragile. Ego is reactive. Your true self, your strength, your character, your essence is untouchable. It doesn't matter how loud someone's voice is or how many people are watching, their attempt to humiliate you is just that, an attempt. Whether it succeeds or not is entirely up to you. When you pause, you also give yourself the opportunity to observe. What kind of person does it take to try to humiliate someone? What kind of pain or insecurity are they carrying? Most often, their words say more about them than about you. People project their fears, their failures, and their frustrations onto others because it's easier than confronting their own shortcomings. That doesn't make their actions excusable, but it makes them pitiable. When you understand this, you realize you don't need to fight fire with fire. You don't need to descend to their level, because their actions stem from a place of weakness, and you are stronger than that. And finally, I would add, there are people all over the world that are more experienced than you and that are looking for your help. In that pause, you can choose your response. And understand this, a response is not the same as a reaction. A reaction is quick, fueled by emotion, and often regrettable. A response is deliberate, measured, and powerful. Sometimes the best response is silence. There's a strength in looking someone directly in the eye, saying nothing, and letting their words fall flat under the weight of your unshaken presence. Silence can be louder than shouting, more cutting than any comeback, cutting forces like daggers and driving stones into the heart. Other times, your response might be calm, clear, and assertive. It might be a simple acknowledgement that you heard their words, but they don't define your reality. A response like this takes courage, but it also takes control. It tells everyone in the room, including the person who tried to humiliate you, that you are in charge of your emotions and your destiny. You are not a puppet on their strings. Pausing also allows you to remember the bigger picture. This moment, no matter how intense it feels, is temporary. The embarrassment, the sting, the judgment of others, it will fade. What will remain is the impression you leave on those around you. People will remember how you carried yourself in the face of disrespect, more than they'll remember the disrespect itself. By maintaining your composure, you send a message that speaks louder than any insult. You cannot be shaken. Finally, understand this. The pause isn't just about handling the moment. It's about growth. Every challenging moment, every insult, and every humiliation is an opportunity to become stronger. It's a test of your character, your self-control, and your resilience. The person who pauses, who chooses their response with intention, is the person who grows from the experience. They become unbreakable. So the next time someone tries to humiliate you in front of everyone, don't react in haste. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you falter. Pause. In that pause, you'll find your strength, your clarity, and your power. And when you do finally respond, whether with silence, a calm word, or simply by walking away, you'll leave them and everyone else in the room with no doubt about who you truly are. Someone who cannot be diminished, no matter how hard they try. When someone humiliates you in front of others, their goal is often to strip away your confidence and make you question your value. They want you to feel small, powerless, and defined by their words. But here's the truth. No one's words, actions, or opinions have the authority to define you unless you give them that power. Your worth isn't a reflection of someone else's perception. It's rooted in who you are and how you choose to see yourself. It's easy to let their words linger, replaying them in your mind, dissecting every syllable as if they hold some hidden truth. But they don't. Their words are a reflection of them, their insecurities, their need to feel superior, or their own unresolved pain. When someone lashes out to humiliate you, it says far more about their character than it does about yours. Recognizing this is the first step to freedom. It's not about ignoring what was said or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about understanding that their attempt to humiliate you is not a mirror of your reality. The fourth takeaway. Imagine this. You're holding a beautiful, priceless vase. If someone walks up and says it's ugly or worthless, does that change the vase? Does it lose its value because of their opinion? Of course not. The vase remains as exquisite as it was before they spoke. The same applies to you. Just because someone tries to belittle you doesn't mean you've lost your value. It's their perception, and their perception is theirs to carry, not yours. The challenge, of course, is resisting the urge to internalize their words. When you're humiliated publicly, it can feel like the whole world is against you in that moment. The laughter, the stares, or even the silence can feel like 1,000 voices agreeing with the person who hurt you. But remember, those reactions are fleeting. They don't define the truth of who you are. People may laugh because they're uncomfortable, or join in because they don't want to be the next target. Their reactions are not an endorsement of the insult. They're a reflection of human nature. What truly matters is how you carry yourself after the moment has passed. Do you shrink and accept the label they try to place on you? Or do you stand tall, reminding yourself and everyone else that you are more than one person's attempt to bring you down? Your actions in that moment set the tone for how others perceive you. If you believe in your worth, others will follow suit. Confidence is contagious, even in the face of humiliation. Think about the great figures in history who faced public criticism, ridicule, and even outright humiliation. Did they let it define them? No. They pressed forward, knowing that their value wasn't tied to the opinions of others. The same resilience is within you. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone, because your worth is inherent. It's not earned by their approval, nor is it diminished by their disapproval. The value is Star Wars. The value is inherent. It's not earned by their approval, nor is it diminished by their disapproval. When you refuse to let their words define you, you reclaim your narrative. You become the author of your story, not the person trying to humiliate you. You decide what you stand for, who you are, and how you'll rise from that moment. There's a quiet power in knowing that you don't need to retaliate or explain yourself to maintain your dignity. Sometimes, the greatest response is simply living in a way that proves their words wrong without uttering a single one of your own. Furthermore, there is no limit to your happiness or your speed or your life. There is no limit to your courage, their words wrong, without uttering a single one of your own. One of the most profound lessons you can learn is this: other people's opinions of you are none of your business. What they think, what they say, how they try to paint you, it's all noise. Your business is your character, your growth, and your truth. Focus on that. When you invest in yourself, when you nurture your self-worth, and when you remind yourself daily of who you are, you build an unshakable foundation. No insult, no public humiliation, and no attempt to tear you down can shake that foundation. In life, there will always be people who project their insecurities onto others. They'll try to make you feel small because it's the only way they know how to feel big. But the antidote to their venom isn't retaliation or validation. It's self-assurance. When you know who you are, when you trust in your worth, their words lose their power. They can't touch you because you've already decided that their opinion isn't the measure of your value. So the next time someone humiliates you in front of everyone, don't let their words define you. Hold your head high and remember, you are not their insecurity, their pain, or their projection. You are your strength, your resilience, and your unshakable self-worth. Let them have their moment. You've got a lifetime of greatness ahead of you, and nothing they say can take that away. When someone humiliates you, it's easy to see the moment as an attack, a blow meant to harm or destroy your confidence. But here's a perspective that can shift the way you see it. Humiliation, as painful as it feels, is often a mirror. It reflects something about the situation, the person delivering the insult, and perhaps even a truth about yourself that you might not have recognized yet. It's not destruction, it's an opportunity. The question is, what will you do with it? Said Gillespie. First, understand that when someone tries to humiliate you, their intent is to wound, not to offer clarity or insight. Their aim isn't to help you grow, but to bring you down. That doesn't mean there's nothing to learn. In every situation, even the most challenging ones, there's a chance to reflect and grow stronger. Let the humiliation be a mirror that shows you not what they think you are, but who you truly are and where you stand. Start by asking yourself an honest question. Is there any truth in what they said? This doesn't mean you accept their words as fact, but instead, you examine them with curiosity rather than defensiveness. Sometimes, in their attempt to humiliate, people inadvertently touch on something we've overlooked or ignored about ourselves. Maybe their criticism hit a nerve because it reflects an area of improvement you've been avoiding. You may be spending too much time searching for your feelings rather than trying to find the evidence for what you've been avoiding. If that's the case, don't let the delivery overshadow the message. Growth often begins in the uncomfortable space of acknowledging something we'd rather not face. But more often than not, you'll find their words have little to do with you and everything to do with them. People humiliate others for countless reasons: insecurity, jealousy, a need for control, or even unresolved pain. Their words are less a mirror of your flaws and more a projection of their struggles. When you recognize this, you can separate yourself from their negativity. You see the moment not as a judgment on your character, but as a reflection of theirs. That understanding gives you the upper hand, not to retaliate, but to rise above it. When humiliation acts as a mirror, it also forces you to confront your own reactions. How you respond in that moment reveals more about your character than the insult itself. Do you lash out? Do you crumble under the weight of their words? Or do you take a deep breath, stand tall, and let your strength speak louder than their insult? How you handle the situation is a reflection of the person you are striving to become. Every challenge, every moment of adversity is an opportunity to refine your character. There's also a deeper mirror at play in these moments, one that reflects not just your immediate reaction, but your long-term resilience. What happens in the days, weeks, and months after that moment of humiliation? Do you carry their words with you, letting them weigh you down? Or do you use them as fuel? The strongest people take moments of adversity and turn them into stepping stones. They use them to grow, to learn, to build themselves into someone who is unshakable. They take them to rebuild themselves into someone who is unshakable. Do you have the courage? You can choose to do the same. Sometimes, the mirror also shows you the strength of your boundaries. If someone's words cut deeply, it's worth asking yourself why they had that much access to your emotions. Do you place too much weight on the opinions of others? Are there areas where you need to set stronger boundaries to protect your sense of self-worth? These are hard questions, but they're vital ones. The more you understand yourself, the less power anyone else's words will have over you. Finally, let the humiliation be a mirror that reflects your growth. Look back on moments in your past when you felt similarly. How did you handle them then? How are you handling them now? What does this moment teach you about how far you've come and how much further you can go? The ability to look at yourself with honesty and compassion is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. It's what turns moments of pain into milestones of progress. So when someone tries to humiliate you, don't let it destroy you. Let it be a mirror. Use it to examine your strengths and your vulnerabilities. Use it to understand the person who insulted you, not to justify their actions, but to recognize they don't define you. Use it to reflect on how you want to respond, not just in the moment, but in the days and years that follow. And most importantly, use it to grow, because every moment of humiliation, when faced with courage and introspection, can become a stepping stone to becoming the strongest, truest version of yourself. When someone humiliates you, the natural instinct is to fight back, to defend yourself, or even to retaliate with the same energy. But there's a deeper, more profound lesson in these moments. True greatness isn't found in stooping to someone else's level. It's found in rising above. It's found in showing grace under pressure, in maintaining your composure, and in choosing a response that reflects your values rather than their insult. Rising above doesn't mean you ignore what happened or pretend it didn't hurt. It means you refuse to let it dictate who you are or how you behave. Think about what it means to rise above. It's not about being passive or letting people walk over you. On the contrary, it's about strength. Strength to stay in control of your emotions. Strength to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. And strength to show the kind of character that humiliation can never tarnish. Rising above is a choice, and it's one of the most powerful choices you can make. Humiliation is a test of character, not a measure of worth. In those moments when someone tries to bring you down, they're revealing who they are, not who you are. They may want to provoke you, to drag you into an argument, or to make you feel as small as they do. But when you rise above, you deny them that power. You demonstrate that your strength doesn't depend on overpowering them. It comes from within. Grace under pressure is one of the rarest and most admirable traits a person can have. It's easy to lash out when you're hurt, to give in to anger or frustration, or to say something you might regret later. But grace is different. Grace is the quiet confidence that says, I'm bigger than this moment. I'm stronger than your insult, and I won't let you dictate how I behave. Grace is standing tall, speaking calmly, or even choosing silence when it speaks louder than words. There's something deeply powerful about remaining composed in the face of humiliation. It's a strength that commands respect, not just from others, but from yourself. When you look back on the moment later, you won't regret what you didn't say. You won't feel the sting of losing control or saying something that didn't align with your values. Instead, you'll feel proud that you held your ground, that you stayed true to who you are, and that you didn't let someone else's negativity pull you down. Number 3, rising above also sends a message to those watching. When you're humiliated in front of others, it's easy to feel like the crowd is against you, like they're judging you or aligning with the person who insulted you. But most people are simply observing, and how you respond leaves a lasting impression. If you respond with dignity, you show them what true strength looks like. You become an example of resilience, composure, and self-respect. People may not remember the insult itself, but they will remember how you carried yourself through it. Let me show you. And here's the secret to rising above. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about proving something to yourself. It's about knowing that you're capable of handling adversity with grace, that you're strong enough to take the high road, and that your worth isn't determined by someone else's words or actions. It's about reclaiming your power in the face of an attempt to strip it away. Rising above also means focusing on the long game. In the moment, it might feel satisfying to retaliate, to hit back with a sharp word or a clever insult. But that satisfaction is fleeting. What lasts is the sense of pride and integrity that comes from choosing the higher path. The best way to silence someone who tries to humiliate you isn't with words or retaliation. It's with success, resilience, and an unshakable spirit. It's living in a way that makes their insult irrelevant. Remember, the person trying to humiliate you is often projecting their insecurities, their pain, or their need for control. Their actions are not a reflection of your worth, but of their struggles. When you understand this, it becomes easier to rise above because you see their actions for what they are, a cry for attention, validation, or power. You don't have to give them what they're looking for. Instead, you can give yourself the gift of grace, strength, and dignity. Rising above doesn't mean you forget or excuse what happened. It means you choose not to be defined by it. It means you take control of your narrative, showing yourself and the world that no insult, no humiliation, and no attempt to tear you down can diminish who you are. You are more than one moment, more than someone else's words, and more than their attempt to hurt you. By rising above, you prove that greatness isn't about winning the argument or having the last word. It's about being unshakable in the face of anything life throws your way. Number 8.